Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. A new local concern makes a bid for Trinidad and Tobago's PETROTRIN Refinery. This story takes the lead in our 1060th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 3rd March 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world? And you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. The Confederation of Regional Business Chambers in Trinidad and Tobago will throw its hat into the ring to bid for the Pointe-à-Pierre refinery. The plan is still in the early stages and logistics are being worked out. But we're told the government is well aware of the Confederation's intention to acquire the asset. TV6's Alicia Boucher has that story.
The Confederation of Regional Business Chambers previously expressed that it was eyeing the Pointe-à-Pierre refinery. Well, since the third bid by Patriotic Energies and Technologies Limited was rejected by the government, the CRBC is moving ahead to turn its intention to a plan of action for acquisition. President of the Gasparilla Chamber of Commerce, Anil Ramjit, says there has been a measure of communication between the CRBC and the government.
The Ministry of Energy did contact us for a copy of the interview. So they are well aware that we are interested in putting a bid. There is no formal engagement with the Energy Ministry as yet. However, we are looking to do that very soon. Right now, we are putting a technical perspective in place. We are looking to see the cost, the actual cost, as close as possible to bring up this refinery.
During the government's bidding process with Patriotic Energies, it was stated that a realistic figure to get a refinery up and running is about $500 million. As to the actual value of the refinery, Finance Minister Colman Bird has previously indicated that would be dependent on what the open market is willing to pay for it.
In fact, we have some financiers, regional financing firms, that have approached us. And then we have identified a couple international partners that we are going to approach.
Ramjit is confident in the refinery's ability to generate revenue and profit, calling such an acquisition a win-win situation, at least in the long run.
In about 15 years, that refinery can pay for itself. I have worked there for 18 years, and we have people on board who have spent 30 years of their life and have an extensive knowledge of the entire refinery. And the refinery is a good option, it's good business sense. And people in the sector knows that.
Ramjit, who is leading the CRBC's technical team, is not worried about possible international bids, saying the narratives surrounding the refinery and its closure serve as a nuisance and a hindrance to getting a good price for it. He says the government erred in this regard. But is the CRBC's bid a smokescreen to create a situation for big businesses in the country to get their hands on the refinery? Ramjit says of the 14 presidents in the Confederation, about 5 feel very passionate about a possible acquisition.
And we have had no discussion with any major business or the 1%, as some people would like to put it. No, we have not. This is purely out of our conscience, our love for country before anything else.
The CRBC is aiming to get its proposal ready in 1 month's time to present to the government. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Meantime, a motion of no confidence in Energy Minister Franklin Khan and a call for him to resign. It comes from United National Congress Member of Parliament for Pointe-à-Pierre, David Lee. It's on the premise of underperformance. However, Khan says Lee's motion is not factual and he's questioning the MP's understanding of the energy industry. TV6's Alicia Boucher again reports.
Underscoring that his motion of no confidence was not a personal attack on Energy Minister Franklin Ken, MP David Lee said the performance of the minister over the past 5 years leaves much to be desired.
Especially in point of pay, Madam Speaker. Minister Ken, who has been the head, has seen the decimation of the point of pay refinery and PETROTRIN, Madam Speaker, under his watch. He has caused turmoil and hardship to the people of point of pay. And I want to call on behalf of we need a commission of inquiry into PETROTRIN, Madam Speaker.
Citing several media articles, Lee noted the shutdown of plants such as ArcelorMittal, Methanol Holdings, Yara Ammonia, and Titan Methanol, and went on to quote from an article which said TNT's gas prices were no longer competitive in terms of unit cost and volume.
Gas production has fallen by 23% underneath Minister Khan. And this is from the Central Bank Economic Bulletin of January 2021. The fall in gas supply, Madam Speaker, is before COVID-19. So don't let them come to fool us here today about COVID-19 had a part to play. Rather than be pushed out, the Energy Minister should do the honorable thing and resign here today, Madam Speaker.
Minister Khan said while he takes responsibility for the performance of the energy sector, Lee's contribution had no foundation in fact or performance. Khan noted that whether this country likes it or not, it is a price taker in the energy industry, meaning it does not control the price of oil and gas on the international market. But when it comes to performance, Khan stated that government was able to reduce claims on the national gas company from $750 million to $363 million at present. He said the restructuring of PETROTRIN, which at that time had a $10 billion debt and was owing the state $3 billion in taxes, was necessary to prevent a systematic impact on the economy. However, on the flip side, Khan cited that the entities created from PETROTRIN are now recording profits. From 2019 to date, Heritage generated close to $2 billion in profits.
Over that 2-year period, it paid $1.9 billion in taxes and royalties to the state, something that PETROTRIN was not doing. David Abdullah, Caroline Sipasad Bechan, Kevin Ramnarain, and a lot of UNC operators were saying, the crude has no value. How will you sell it? Today, I can say Heritage's crude is selling at Brent minus $2. This morning, Brent was $66 a barrel.
And that puts Heritage crude above Galeota crude, according to the minister. In addition, Heritage Petroleum is managing PETROTRIN's entire debt portfolio.
And it caused a refinancing of the bond without a government guarantee. They refinanced the $850 million bond without a government guarantee, based on the cash flow only of Heritage.
Khan called it a corporate turnaround of epic proportions. The energy minister said while plants are being shut down globally, he believes TNT is in a fortunate position to have some of the world oil and gas giants, such as BP, Shell, and EOG, in its playing field, adding that many of their upstream activities have been maintained even amid COVID-19. He labeled the UNC's focus as negative, casting a shadow over Lee's and the media's understanding of energy.
If you can move a motion of no confidence on an experienced energy minister, and your only narrative is randomly quoting a series of newspaper articles, something is wrong, because the newspaper journalists themselves doesn't understand the industry.
As for Lee's call for a resignation,
we'll chart these rough waters ahead. And we are making significant progress and achieving great success. It is that progress that the opposition UNC are very uncomfortable with.
Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Over now to Antigua, where just over 1,300 members of the public received their first doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on the first day of the rollout of public vaccination. Head of the communications team for the country's vaccination program, Dr. Janelle Charles Williams, says elderly people have responded positively, and as a result, the next 2 days will be dedicated to them.
It was a good showing. We were delighted to see a number of persons 65 and older showing up to be vaccinated, and we are very pleased that they are taking the necessary steps to ensure that their health is protected. And because of this, we are saying on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, and Wednesday, those 2 days have been reserved for the elderly, people 65 and over. That is their day for vaccination at all of the 4 sites.
She says vaccination will, however, continue to be administered at various statutory entities in government at the very same time. Besides the elderly, she noted that the response has also been positive from the younger members of the country's population.
We saw a nice mix at the various vaccination sites. Young person as young as 18 pushing forward to get vaccinated. So a nice mix of older persons as well as younger persons coming forward to get vaccinated. And so that's why tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday, we say give the elderly people a chance to get vaccinated.
She was very quick to add, however, that no one will be denied, but encourages everyone to get registered to facilitate a smooth and efficient process.
We are still encouraging people to register online, because if you registered, it is easier for you to breeze through the process when you get to the vaccination center. It's very easy for the registering clerk to just pull up your information. So we encourage people to register either using the hotline or online. And I know it can be challenging, but we encourage you to exercise some patience.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister addresses concerns over rising debt to GDP ratio. Stanley Lucian of HTS News Force reports.
St. Lucia's heavy borrowing of late has led to concerns about the impact its public debt burden would have on future economic growth and the ability of future administrations to sustain themselves. A nation's debt to gross domestic product GDP ratio is an important indicator of its creditworthiness and, to a large extent, its viability. The rule of thumb for international financial organizations is that a nation's debt to GDP ratio should be below 60%. But according to the latest assessment of the Caribbean Development Bank, St. Lucia's debt to GDP ratio stands at more than 100%. Prime Minister Alan Chasney, in a call Monday to Radio 100's popular morning program Out Goes In, acknowledged St. Lucia's debt to GDP ratio is high, but placed it at closer to 90%.
Remember that there was a shortage, an anticipated shortfall in tax revenues of almost $200 million. And we also had to find $175 million to pay off bonds that would have normally turned over. Plus, you had the increase in the cost expenses due to COVID, both in terms of from a health perspective, and then the other one from an income and substance support system. So the projection right now is that our debt to GDP is going to be around 90%.
The economic fallout from COVID-19 has exacerbated the situation, with St. Lucia's government increasingly turning to creditors to fund its major capital works. But the government is being criticized for prioritizing capital projects over the welfare of its people at this time, a criticism the government roundly dismisses. Prime Minister Alan Chasney says the recent loans have been on very favorable terms. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.
Calling all vehicle owners. Inspection and licensing continues. And at Hubbard's, we want you to be ready. From February 16th to March 31st. Registration numbers 2,501 to 5,000 with single registration letter. Or registration numbers 251 to 500 with plural registration letters will receive 11% off new torque tires and PowerMax batteries. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit us today at the Motor Department in Mount Gay or the Tire Bay in Grand Anse near to the building supplies.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.